One of the strongest champions in the game is actually Pantheon. He's been really powerful in the mid and support positions as well as top lane historically, and he's had on and off metas in the jungle. But this rank 1 Pantheon jungle on the Korean server is well on his way to Challenger, currently Grandmaster, with a 63% win rate at the time of recording. Let's see if you can use this champion to outsmart and outdestroy Graves and Heckrams and Kha'Zix and other weird champions just by saying no. Because that's effectively what he does, isn't it? And one of the best changes that we've ever had to a reworked kit to make them kind of get back to that original status they had before the rework and also make them really viable was this Pantheon. On the ultimate, you see there on the top, passive, gains 10% armor penetration. At level 11, level 16, that goes up to 20 and 30%. This enables a champion that's classically only known as an early game champion to become a late game menace as well. Now the Graves here is obviously doing his red side quadrant, we're doing our red side quadrant. Our bottom lane is pushing up and winning bottom lane, but this guy's going to have to 1v9 this game, and I want to show you how to do that, not in a curved snowballs GG over, but in something where he actually has to use the full immensity of this champion's kit. Now, as always, we know walking through here without a scanner to invade a Graves is dangerous business, definitely higher risk. It could be warded, who knows what vision was placed early on and in the rivers before they showed up, and obviously now everyone's going to collapse. But fortunately, our bottom lane won this prior match, and so we can go for this. Graves will always try and contest, but I guess you can think, hey, maybe Graves is vertical jungling me. But as we know, and this, yes, does happen in high elo, and it happens in bronze, your bottom lane will rotate. In fact, in my coaching VOD library, I've been iron coaching where those laners rotated for good and bad situations alike. Now, when you are playing Pantheon, what I don't want to see is full clearing, relaxing, doing nothing. You've got to try these sort of aggressive moves when you have prior play around that get in the enemy jungler's face. I also have seen Pantheon supports, as Hwei kills Akali. It's the first time I've ever seen Hwei do anything useful. If you want help implementing this information into your own game, I have a free jungle improvement resource as well as a dedicated program where we have jungle video courses, jungle coaching VOD libraries, weekly free video content seen nowhere else, as well as Q&As and patch note rundowns, as well as a private jungle Discord. And if there's one thing I'm good at, it's converting junglers to gold, to emerald, to diamond, to master plus. If you want to climb faster than anyone you know, jungle diff every game you play, click the link below or head to vakayu.gg. What he did was, he didn't even go to lane, he just ran around killing stuff because he could. You've got your Q, right? And you've got the multiple passive. Here we go, 2 more for the multiple passive, and we'll see if we can kill this Twitch. Summon Spell Flash is still available. We're going to use the shield over there. We see the Graves show up again out of base. We're forced to flash out. Graves obviously coming back down to the bottom side. Nautilus hits the hook. And we have nothing up here. W up very shortly, so if someone goes into turret, we can press the button. No one does. So this is the downside to something like this. If the enemy reverse clears or uses, I would stick around just to press W on someone who's overcommitting, get that kill. Yeah, that's okay. Like, yeah, Graves gets something back, but honestly, that's fine for the Pantheon. Now, oh, assist? Assist gaming? Excuse me, replay? Yes? No assist gaming. No assist. 1v9 Nautilus. For now. For now. As we all know, bottom lanes that win typically don't always snowball. Right. You would have seen the rune set is PTA. Great for burst damage against comps where you really want to have burst damage. Conqueror is the secondary page, exactly the same thing. You just swap the Conqueror out, and he runs this at like a, 70% to 30% clip. Mostly PTA because you can really just upfront load that burst damage. Empower W gives you those quick attacks as well for PTA burst, and you're just looking to use lethality, rinse people out, and carry on with your day. That 1 second stun on W, absolutely massive. Obviously, when you're full clearing here, holding Q does damage to things behind it, reduce damage obviously, and you go on your full cooldown, you get to channel it nice and slow, have that extra range, but if you tap it, you get that cooldown refund, right? So I'll hover that for you there so you can read it, but you have that cooldown refund when you just do a little bit of a tap, so that can be also useful to know. You don't always want to hold too long and people can leave, especially if you can still get that extra damage going forward. Now, here's the thing about Pantheon. We are now going down, right? We're clearing down, and Graves is stealing our second spawn Raptors. We're not a farming jungler, yet we have 38 CS to 24. And this is where people get a misconception. I just told you, hey, you have to be aggressive, you have to be proactive, but it doesn't mean you can't fall back to your camps and fall back to quadrants really easily, right? Now, we see Akali pretty low here. We're going to get a multiple stack, full stack here now. We're going to try obviously to hit our a max range Q, but she is long gone. And we saw the Graves go this direction, And so we can just go ahead and steal this. Now remember that E, the shield, this one here, this doesn't block turret damage anymore. It should not, much like our Shroud. Now we know that Graves is on the bottom side here. We're just going to watch this play through. We'll take his camps on the top side. 1-1-1. Lethality build. Dirk is insane. His damage is ridiculous. Honestly, his damage is absolutely ridiculous. And that's why, on the thumbnail... Hold on a second. Don't you like high elo Korea sometimes? It just plays like low elo. Okay. Alright. It's a minion wave as well. And just gets eviscerated. We'll take his camps. That's cool. So, let's go back to his builds. 63% of the time, you can go and check. The match history is linked below. He runs Ghostblade, right? Ghostblade into Black Cleaver. The other percent, and lately, he's going with the Eclipse a bit more. Just because you need to decide, do I want the lethality, or do I want the better passive in terms of having that shield, that damage profile from the Eclipse, the survivability, and obviously getting that bonus penetration to go with your ultimate later on in the game, right? But he still goes Black Cleaver second. Now, third in itemization typically is always going to be a Kempang Chainsword is necessary, or GA. Could you go other items like Shojin and Death's Dance and things like that? Yes, but those are the items this player runs because of what server he plays on, right? You got to play the server you're on. What you see most, what items you use most will represent who you face the most, and that's also important, right? High Elo Korea, E-West, and NA might have slightly different profiles for the 3rd, 4th, 5th items based upon what champions are more meta in high elo. So do keep that in mind when you do research, right? Don't blindly build Kempang Chainsword when you could build other things that are useful. You also will consider the Sterak's Gauge for more survivability, if he doesn't really need the armor or the magic resist. And now, of course, we see the Graves on the bottom side here, and you can see the little bit of waffling because, okay, look, you know, I'm 1-1-1, I'm 20 CS up, I'm not really needing to be too active right now, and the best thing you can do with winning lanes when you have them is to shadow and deny the enemy jungle, which Pantheon can do very well. So if you can get in the face of whoever you're facing and shut him down, you're going to have a lot of fun overall with it. However, here, we're pathing upside. We kind of think he should be in the bottom side if we're tracking properly. We see him, obviously, and now we shadow because we have our ultimate. So we're just keeping our eyes up for a potential ultimate play. You can see that. That's why we shadow here. Take these Raptors as they respawn, deny the counter jungling. But if nothing is available, and this guy looks like he's going to get a free dragon, your bottom lane are not in a position to capitalize. You have a Hui mid lane. Just go and do the Herald. Huge. Season 14, go and do the Grubs. And this is what this player likes to do, you know? He doesn't stand still. He doesn't also play like a maniac. He doesn't play like that support who never went bottom lane and just runs around killing stuff. He doesn't play like classical Pantheons, right? Obviously, the Graves is now just going to go ahead and do this. He's also 1-3-2. He's into it a little bit. Gold amounts 2.8 to 3.1. That's all we're looking to do right now. Let's look at the local gold granted by the Herald as well. 3.3 to 2.8. That just grows. And now we know he's down bottom side, so we can go counter jungling again. And you're thinking, damn, this is the most passive Pantheon I've ever seen. Passive and proactive, these are not terms that mean anything when you use them in that way. Proactive is what he is doing. He's 67 CS to 48 at this point. He has a Herald, he has an objective. He invaded the Graves early. He's waiting for these minions to pass to be undetected, so Graves has no idea what he's doing. He's not just randomly using his ult because he has to. He's not randomly ganking because he has to. Now, could we? Yes. In most cases, would you? Yes. Graves is still down here as well. Yone is obviously going all the way in. Looking at this, maybe we can, probably got a nice stun here. We don't have full stacks on our W, but that's fine. We should be able to get the 1 second stun flash stun. There we go. And the tick damage, please. Oh, unlucky. Could Herald here for free cash money gold, but why? Because we can go bottom lane. We can ult to defend this if necessary. So we're going to move. Got the Warhammer. Obviously got this technology, as you know, early on. If you can buy a long sword with the Doran's blade, if you're an AP, if you can build the Doran's ring with a dark seal, these things are really useful. And we know Graves took our shit and goes back here, so nothing we can do. Nice attempt on the Flash W. All the stuff we like to see. And now you're wondering, well, what do you do as a Pantheon when you're just getting econ? And I think these are the big myths and misconceptions about jungle. A ganking jungler doesn't have to only gank. A farming jungler doesn't have to only farm. And recognizing when you should do what is the most important thing, because most champions can clear, as you're looking at, right? 22 CS lead over the Graves. And for all of these advantages, as the Akali goes in here, overlapped with what I was saying, I wanted to show you the action. We're going to try use our max range Q there, not able to connect. We have bottom lane rotating up. For the leads we currently have, it's not a huge one, right? It's not a big one. This will go down, there will be a throw. and it's going to be on the Pantheon to make things change. But I like this one because we've looked at so many Pantheons on this channel where they just hyper gank and the hyper snowball, and then they just run into people to kill. That's easy, right? It's easy to be a Pantheon. Here we go. Here's the ult. Onto the bottom lane. You know, I think he got a little bit nervous there. Like, can I save my Pantheon? So can I save my Lucian with this ult? Versus, like, necessarily grab a kill on the Twitch or the Rakan. That's cool. We lose the Scuttle Crab, but let's go for a lane gank, you know? Full stacks up here. Should be a free stack for us. We're going Q into W, obviously. 48 total damage only. Just so you guys see. Just so you guys see the pathing. Where are we? Okay, here we go. See that? There's a pet. Boom. So this ward, even if you're scanning, you get seen. It's really tough. You gotta sit super, super tight, even closer to the wall, and really hope that it's positioned in a way that you can get him. But most people who place this ward will be placing it in the middle. You'll be spotted guaranteed, especially if they place it like at the top of the brush, right there. That gives full vision of the zone. Once he scans and he sees it, he knows he's spotted, so he's just gonna go back to base. We have Ghostblade completed. And now we can use it to get back on the map. Always press this out of base. Use it to get back on the map as soon as possible. There's Graves going into the jungle here. And now instead of going back to the top side, instead of going back for counter jungling, he saw us here. He thinks, Pantheon's going to the base again and probably go top. Now you don't do that. You go back to the bottom side to protect, to shadow, and to try and pick a lane to really snowball. So Graves, looking at mid lane. 8-5, 1-1-1. And then people have asked me a lot recently, which is why I chose this game instead of another one. What do I do if I have low KP and my laners don't really need me? I think the best response here is, hey, I am up 400 to 500 gold over the enemy jungler. I am up 22 CS over the enemy jungler. Counter jungled them twice. Lethal precision on those counter jungles. I got a Herald. Gave the gold to my laner and myself, hopefully. I saved my lane from dying solo or dying to a jungler through a counter gank. These things are what you do, right? Next up is a dragon. I would like to go and snack that, but again, we do have ultimate up in 44 seconds. The cooldown is quite high. Okay, so now we got the bottom lane here, obviously, and we see the Pantheon on the top side. Try to get 5 stacks off the Mortal Will. We don't, but we got a good angle of approach here onto the Yone. No sums for him. We're not going to get the full empowered W, but that doesn't really matter at this particular stage. E used, auto attacks used, one more poking prod that does nothing because he's already dead. Super nice. Let's go ahead and look at the mechanics in slow motion, as we like to do a little bit on this channel now and then. So we have our E off cooldown at this particular stage. No flash. We just need to get in range for the W, which of course is what we do. Both jump in here. We do have our E up to follow. We have Mortal Will ready to go. All right, we get the poke there, obviously, which doesn't really go anywhere because he dashes. Now we're going to use, right, the full stack on our Q here. Both, there's your prod, and now we can go into that E, all right? Obviously an auto attack E. Most champions have auto attack cancels on their abilities, so you can just always auto attack and then do that. There's another auto attack, and we'll get Q up at the end here, which of course we use just in case he doesn't die, but he died so quickly, that's all we can do. So basically, it's not obviously rocket science when you play Pantheon, we know that, but it's more so about knowing what happens when you press those buttons. What kind of damage output are you looking at? So now we do go back to base. Graves is on the bottom side here. We're level 9. Let's see what we can do to win this game. We're 1-1-2. We do have ult available. We're looking at this. We know Graves should shout it down for the dragon. This is kind of where you want to start to really get into the situation. There's a Pantheon ult. There we go. There's a Rakan knocking us up, obviously. Save your stun for when you know it's going to actually do something. We have full stacks of Immortal Will at this particular stage. We'll use that on the Q, obviously. We don't have W up for a lot of time. And then the poison should kill us. Yes, it does. So Twitch is fed, you know, but this is worth going for. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and be like, based upon what we just saw, obviously you should know not to go in. This is results-based bullshit. We know that it's good to hold here. We know Graves is going to be on the side. We know the Twitch is fed. Maybe we can get a kill off. Maybe. It's worth the attempt. Because he's now at 6.2. And Graves is at 5.6. We're at 5.8. Most likely you're going to lose the dragon here. Let's just skip forward a little bit. Yes, we do. And Pantheon, knowing that he's going to skip that dragon, well, lose and skip at the same particular time, we decide to go ahead and do this Herald. I like that. It's okay to give up 2 dragons. It's okay to give up 3 dragons. Honestly, in some cases, it's okay to give up 4 dragons. Only if your comp is able to navigate a Baron through that only if your comp has decent wave killing, only if you know you can still scale to win fights to get the Elder. That's a critical key there, but honestly, I don't mind doing that in games where I know my comp is just unholy strong later on, and I know I don't need the dragons or the soul or whatever to actually go and bust it out. We see 3 people bottom lane. We have a bottom lane rotating to the mid lane. This is where trading that dragon for the Herald is huge, because we can punch this tier 2. We can trap the Yone, get that stun on him, and he should die pretty damn quickly from the Udyr. So now you're seeing the pace pick up, and this is what Pantheon was known for many times in the past, was just building some damage, being a stun bot. But now when people go in, there's a Nautilus as well as a Pantheon. You see there, we chucked our Q to make sure we get the kill as well at the end. Twitch shows up. This is what we have to be careful about. We do have W available. Can we get the stun there? Yes, we can. Easily an auto Q into an E. Done. And we obviously have Ghostblade to help us catch up. That's the utility of Ghostblade is important for squishies, not just only for the burst damage with PTA. Total amount of damage, 196 bonus and 140 exposed. We do like the exposed damage on PTA, but it's not really what we always use it for. It's just for us, you know? And it's not, those are not insane amounts, but when they're used, they're useful. Could we ult and save? Yes, but they're dead, so we won't. We'll take the Krugs while we wait for him to push in. Let's see. Can we go and get those 3 quick attacks on an empowered W? One more. Well, we needed one more. Here we go. We're actually going to ult the wave to clear it, and hopefully be able to hold the turret, which we could not do, but we see the Nautilus coming in down here, so we're going to turn the stun onto the Yone there, use our E to backpedal. Of course, your empowered E does give you movement speed, so if you need to get out of a situation, you can use it there as well. Team shows up. We have W up. We have Q up. We're trying to get there. We have Ghostblade not up, but let's see if someone can do something. Ugh, you can see the chase like we want to get in there, but we couldn't. That's okay. Huge again, right? Gold lead. 4,000 now. But it doesn't always feel like it's 4,000, does it? It almost felt like this game we were a little bit behind because of how we weren't that active, right? We weren't really getting all the things you expect from a snowballing Pantheon, but look at the CS. 144 to 123 on the Graves. Gold amount now. 8.5 to 7.4. This is why it's important to know, even on Pantheon, that you can scale, that you can build correctly. We're going to go to the Black Cleaver here, obviously. And then he's going to go into the Maul because we have the Twitch, we have the Akali. That shield is obviously absolutely massive. So many people do magic damage as well for the proc. Take that one. Thank you very much. Now we're looking at the Fog of War macro. This is where Pantheon is very strong, okay? The early game here was very passive and slow. Not passive jungling. Passive and just that no one was really, like, playing hyper-aggressively. I gotta stop using these terms because, you know, when you said in one sentence, it means something. When you said another sentence, it doesn't mean something. Main channel, proactive and reactive jungling. You want to understand truly what that means? Go watch that video. Seriously, Dante's versus Gurren. No one wanted to watch it on the main channel, but maybe you guys do. Really important. Because proactive doesn't necessarily mean kills. It means 40 CS leads even with 0 KP. It means getting 2 to 3 level leads and objectives even if it means no ganking, right? It's not just about fisting and fighting. Now, obviously, we want to push up with our waves. We've got a 1-3-1. We got the Hui top lane, we got 3 people mid lane, and we got the Udyr bottom lane. Dragon is respawning, so now we're just zoning and chilling. No camps to farm, no reason to worry about anything. We got a point-and-click stun. We do have flash available. We're going to ult in here, and most likely use that onto the Akali with our flash if need to be, but we don't need to. We did our empowered Immortal Will W. We did, well, shall I slow down for you again? So we ult in. Here we go. We're going to land. Boom. Okay, let's make sure we have the Pantheon fully loaded. All right, we're going to use our Empower W. We're going to hit the land. We're then going to poke with our Q, and then we're going to press our E because she's in a shroud and it's AoE. And then once that's done, obviously, you can use your smite and your auto attacks or one more Q. Obviously, remember with this Q, when you tap it, you get 60% of this cooldown's refund. It's 5 seconds base, but when you tap it and you don't really hold it to do that, that damage to beyond targets, right? It's way better. And obviously, critical strikes at low HP, so go ahead and smack it. And then while we're watching that, another stunned target into another kill. Damage on Immortal, I'm just reading that deals an additional 328. Like, that's a substantial and additional amount. That's not, you know, a little bit. That's almost double the damage if you can hit that Immortal Will one, plus the critical strike damage. But that's really all it is. It's empowered damage. Much like Brand's W, right? It's just more damage. do we want to use the utility of the range on that Brand E, or do we want to use the stun on the Q? Same thing for the Pantheon here. With PTA and having this extra damage and the 3 attacks on that empowered W, that's really powerful as well. So decide what you need when you need it. That's the difficulty. That's the Rengar, that's the Pantheon, that's the Nidalee, that's the Brand. These champions all have this. Obviously, here we go. We jump into the Rakan. We have a Q we can use. Got the kill. Yeah, over the wall there. We got the Rakan blind. Whoopsie. We got the Rakan blind. Here Yone comes in. Hook hits. W is up again now. We're going to use our E for disengage, though. Still, though, Yone is strong. Even if he's 2-5-2. Guys get 8.7k gold. It's not like he's got nothing. We are already 11,000 from the previous sequence, right? All the shutdowns, all the plays we've just made. That's where Pantheon is powerful. This is 20-minute moment. So if you can be really strong here, you can close out. If you're a little bit behind, you can get ahead. And if you are really far behind, you can still be useful because you still have W. We do have the Baron up. I don't know why people are pinging that off. I mean, we're losing this third dragon. We know that. So that's fine. Get forward again. Back into the map. All right. Now we've got the more of Malmortius. And now we're trapping again. There's a stun onto the Rakan. See if we can kill him before he dashes out. He R's. He does die. Huawei plays around us nicely. Yona's in the backside here. Stun is up again. This is why Shojin's so good on him if you do go that item. But obviously here, the first and foremost thing is to ensure that you can stun, survive, and kill people that need to be killed. Obviously, Q doing that critical strike damage. As opposed to worrying too much about holding it for maximum duration. We could Baron from this. I'm looking at this, I'm thinking a little bit in my head here, but could we not just go Baron, guys? Twitch is there. TP has been committed. Twitch is going to rotate over. All we got to do, right, all we got to do, and obviously tap your Q on this Baron for quick resets and refunds. All we got to do is turn and get a kill or finish up the Baron. It's up to you guys. At this point, I think you should just finish it very, very quickly. Twitch is not even on it, so now we're fully committed. I mean, I like turning more in those situations, but it's okay. Akali's on us. E is used. Huge E. Huge E here. There you go. Morphle Mortius goes up. Well, stun is used. Smack with the shield on the recast. Boom. Done. And now Twitch is chasing us down. See the damage on the Q? But we'll die for that one, though. Did you see the damage on the Q, though? Huge, baby. All right. Nice Baron. Again, I'm still of the mind that we should have just turned. Okay, now Graves is on the map, and it just came to me that I said recast when I kind of just meant like the slam on the shield with the E, that thing. So, Baron secured, pretty good spot. Now 10-3-6, all of a sudden 10-3-6. We're going to ult to the bottom lane here. We do have 5 stacks of Immortal Will granted when you are respawn, you go back to base, or when the game starts. There is the, hopefully, something from the way to help out. Another QW. Chuck out a spear. Just chucked out a spear, just... Goodbye. Yes. When the damage now, we're looking at it. Okay, so the critical strike is for 994. Mortal Will bonus is 471 additional. It's a huge amount of damage, right? You're talking about like 1,000 damage as a baseline metric here. We're going to go back to base because they decide, hey, look, you guys split pushing with Baron. We'll just push down mid lane. So we're going to have to respect that. They go into our jungle now and steal some of our stuff. But Pantheon's basically so juiced, it doesn't really matter. I love the GA, 3rd or 4th on Pantheon and on Nocturne and on champions like this, because this is what you need to close games out, right? This is what you need to not die. Walking around with 5 stacks of Immortal Will, ready to go. So simple. I keep saying Immortal Will, don't I? Mortal Will. Well, it feels like Immortal Will is a better name for it. Oh well. Oh well. There we go. I'm not, those casters that remember every name. Remember some names. Right. Enemy team groups up. Once more, we set it like this is what he's really good at, is setting a trap here. Try and get that stun there. We're forced to flash this time using our E. There's a smack on the shield. I don't know if I would ever flash W or Rakan though. Like, I just don't feel like there's ever a point of doing that. Now we're on the Akali here. We all have W up certainly in a second. We get the Triumph proc there, and obviously go up to level 16, which is great for armor penetration. We use our stopwatch. W is up. Turn onto the Rakan. Oh! Now we can ult back in or out. Straight to the dragon. Stopwatch, told you. You can lose games if you don't build a stopwatch, if you try to build other items. He's just starting this up when we could just be looking to kind of, you know, either just leave the situation or go back in on the situation. But I feel like this is where that massive gold swing is, because we just don't necessarily have the kit and the numbers to be able to deal with. Yeah, she waited for the E to go down before she went in. So there's a shutdown. There's a dragon. Now they're sieging, so nice little throw by everybody involved. I think, again, flashing onto the Rakan was the big mistake there. You don't want to go into targets that are going to be mobile. Sure, you have a lot of damage, but you just don't want to go into champions that can disengage you and waste that. There's our Q again, doing huge amounts of damage. W's going to be up in 5 seconds. Again. Keeps tapping that Q. Only holding when necessary, but otherwise you get that refund. Baron is available. Respawn, GA completed, double control ward bought. Let's go, baby. And again, they got soul from that. Like, you gave them soul from that, and obviously it's not his fault that his team went, fought, and died themselves, but we do have numbers advantage currently. They're all dead. We can quickly rinse this. Be tapping the Q the whole time. Whenever it's up. Maximum damage. Again, you can give up those souls, yeah? You don't have to take them. Yes, it's not good. Yes, it sucks, especially when you have armor penetration giving them free resistances with the Mountain Dragon. But, right, it's not the end of the world. And because you do have armor penetration, it's good versus a Mountain Dragon. However, it's not ideal when you're trying to use your lead to kill people, right? Just giving them free resistances. We ult in here. That's straight onto the Graves, who's out of position. Now we can chase down. We've used our E already. We'll tap our Q right there. And backline, everybody goes. Rakan shows up here. W is going to be up in a second. We'll probably stun the target right in front of us. If we cannot stun a crucial target, we actually stun the Rakan here. So now we can actually try and kill him. E is up again in 5 seconds. Again, that's why Shojin's pretty damn good. Not for W because it stuns, but like for the E and the Q. We're low. We have to base. We do have GA. But I feel like we don't really need to do much. You can always ult back in when you have your ult again. Cooldown at this stage, for those who want to know, 91 seconds. Not small, is it? It's not small. Take the blue, push the top wave, mid inhibitor is down. Now we shadow into. I'm always looking at the minimap. Normally you would click around a bit more, but I like to stare at the minimap for mid and late game situations because you see everything, alright? The Graves is coming, Switch is coming, here we go. We obviously knew this was going to happen because Yone is bot lane, Akali's in the mid lane, you just need to sag off from the situation. And now, because they of course have Mountain, we can go for some armor penetration as well. Versus something else that might be more suited to the game state you're in. Decide, you can go tank item, but as I said, he likes the Maw and the GA and the Sterex. That's what he runs most of the time. And then they go ahead and kill the Yone. Now we're going to ult in because we see the Graves out of position. Again, once you have 5 points in the Mortal Wool there, that's a free stun, attacks 3 times. We can then auto into our Q and of course use our E as much as possible. There's another prod and a poke, and we can just auto attack a little bit. Finish off. We obviously have the Q if we needed to. So, Global Ultimate shows up. W onto a target that you can no longer see is huge. You see we chuck the Q out there at the back line. Now we respace with the Mortis going off. We want to try and kill the Akali as quickly as we can. We use our E to get that AoE down. GA is burnt here. And we have that next stun. Both auto attack with the shield. That should be game, I think. 16-4-11. We haven't spoken about anybody else, right? Udyr has played well, but, you know, everyone else in this game has not such good KDs other than the Twitch. So those three really do shine, but the Pantheon we focused on, right? When he ulted in, when he engaged in fights, when he set traps, he was always ready to go, and he had 246 CS, more than a Graves. So, quite early game, doesn't mean you have to int looking for kills. Play like a normal human being jungler, play like this guy, match history link below for Kaido GG for your jungle theory, and as always, I'll see you all in the next one.